I'm going to take my leave now, and I'm going to introduce someone that works with me and has worked with me for a very, very long time. His name is Dennis Taylor. He is General Counsel for the Office of the Tenant Advocate. Dennis and I have been colleagues since 2007. And he serves as one of the most principal and important people in my operation because he handles a wide range of questions and issues that affect the lives of tenants in the District of Columbia. So it's with pleasure that I allow Dennis to come up and take part in this particular segment. Before he comes, though, let me just say this. Dennis and I, one Saturday I was reading some things, and I read a lot of things in the newspaper, and I ran across this ad for elder care. And I brought it to work, and I said, Dennis, we got to go find out who this guy is. And so Dennis made a phone call, and before we knew it, we were over on 19th and L looking for a law office, and we met this incredible guy named Robert Bullock. He helped us two seasons ago in one of our workshops. But because of the importance of what we're getting ready to talk about now, we knew that there was one person that we knew who we could trust, who could convey a message to tenants. I knew that because Robert has an incredible voice, and he's got an incredible personality. So you're going to enjoy what you're getting ready to experience in a few moments. And of course, I hope I didn't steal Dennis's thunder. With that ado, Mr. Dennis Taylor.
Thank you. Welcome back from break. We're glad to see all of you, and I trust that more of your colleagues will realize what you are doing, and they will want to come join you. Part of what I do as being the general counsel for her office is I'm the person that has to tell her the truth about things. Sometimes I have the duty to tell our clients the truth. Sometimes they don't want to hear it, but it's the duty to do. So I'm going to tell you all a little bit of truth here. Originally, Mayor Gray was not going to be speaking at 12:30 today. He was going to be speaking at 10:45 today. Well, funny things happen. Mayors are very busy people, especially when their jet lag just came back from People's Republic like he did. We understand that. So I got called into Johanna Shreve's office. She said, Dennis, I've got a problem. This is time for Mayor Gray was going to speak here, and he's not going to be here. What in the world am I going to find that is both educational and entertaining to fill this time block with? So I said, Ms. Shreve, this is easy. You need to call Robert Bullock. Remember, he is the only certified elder law attorney currently practicing full-time in the district. Let me say that again, the only. Yeah, thank you. And she said, that's a great idea. You call him. That's the other thing about my job. You do it. And I am so glad because Robert Bullock has been a friend for a long time, and I know that you are going to be educated, you're going to be entertained, and you're going to wish that we delayed lunch a little bit longer so you could hear more of this presentation. I give you Mr. Robert Bullock.
Thank you. Thanks. Okay.
Governor Penn.
Okay. Wow. Good morning. Thank you both. I'm Robert Bullock, and hi. Okay, this is going to be a good crowd. I like this. Who are you, by the way?
Angela Mitchell.
Do I know you?
No.
Okay, keep applauding. Keep applauding the whole time. I want you. That's your job.
There's only one, so you have full applause from me.
Okay, good. I bring you up, but I got a full house up here. Sorry. Okay. My background, very briefly, and the reason that I'm here is that I graduated University of Pennsylvania Law School in yeah. Is there anybody under 25 in here, by the way? You can, oh, all the women are under 25, of course, okay. The real people under 25 can leave, okay. I graduated law school in '71 and came down to DC, and it's been my home since. My roots are in neighborhood legal services. For 3 years, I was at 11th and U Street, which was right after those who were old enough to remember the Martin Luther King riots. And back there, and they came up, don't hold up your card yet, and they came up, remember those riots, they came up the numbered streets. And I had the last surviving plant, a corn plant from the riots, because they did the underground. And you all remember the underground was the jazz center, really in the United States, and I think it's now back again. And I spent 3 years at 11th and U doing landlord tenant work, and then moved to the court's office, and then burned out because representing tenants it requires a tremendous passion, and it was very time consuming. I got married and had a child. And my life took turns, and I ended up doing elder law, and I have a small law firm in Washington, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia, and we do all aspects of elder and disability work for both elders and individuals who are young who have disabilities. With me today is an associate who handles life care planning and management, Abigail Wolf, and she and I have done some work together. She is excellent at her work. She's from New England also, went to Brandeis and Boston College Law School. Today's presentation is going to be an experiment. I have a disdain for sitting listening to lawyers talk, because when you finish, you say, gee, that was interesting, what did he say? And you walk out with nothing. So we're gonna make this a little more interesting for you today, and you're gonna participate. And I'd be curious on your feedback afterwards. We have a tight clock because we're up against the mayor. I am not running for mayor, even though I'm in this spot. I can assure you, you will not have to vote for me. Okay? With that said, what we're gonna talk about today is the issues, and we're gonna put on some dramatization so you can actually see it. The issues that you face in terms of determining your legacy, that is your will when you die, and also caring for yourself if you become disabled during your lifetime. Now you all have cards, okay? So we're gonna vote. And you can vote anybody off the island. If you don't like anybody, just send up a card and I'll send them off the stage, okay? Also with me on the stage is a dear friend I've known for 25 years, Horatio Chacon, who is going to be playing a role, and you'll see his role. He dressed nicely for the occasion, as you can see. Horatio is with PNC Bank. He's a banker. And to his left is Melanie Goulburn, who is with Washington Healthcare Advocates. She is a geriatric care manager. She works with the elderly and the disabled in the District of Columbia and other areas, involved in transition issues from home to nursing homes, from care issues in terms of getting medical care and treatment, and represents people in nursing homes. I personally know Melanie. We've worked together on a lot of cases. She's excellent. And beside her is Abigail, and then to the left is Stephanie Johnson. Stephanie is a licensed clinical neuropsychologist, and I'm going to be honest with you. I met Stephanie yesterday for lunch. Okay, that's true, and I bought lunch. Okay, and I took home the hummus. But I actually knew Stephanie from a case, which is the best way to get to know someone. She was a neuropsychologist on a case that did an evaluation of a woman who was being exploited from her lover in Malaysia. I have a New England accent, so you're going to have to get used to that. From a lover in Malaysia who didn't exist and exploited a woman for, you're sitting down, $350,000. And Stephanie's evaluation was instrumental in getting a guardian appointed for the woman so that the exploitation stopped. She did a tremendous evaluation. She has a varied background at Johns Hopkins, at Duke University. Where'd you go to school? The undergraduate?
Hampton.
Hampton, okay, and she's a Washington. Easy does it, don't interfere with my time, okay? Okay, and she's excellent, and she's gonna be talking to you also. I need to ask you a question to start. You all have two cards, okay? A green one and an orange one? Okay, all right. So over here, and I'm gonna move around Oh, I have a microphone, so I could. This is excellent. I can move around. Okay, if I don't trip and kill myself. Okay, so over here, we have the worst part of life. Maybe not the worst part is dying. Okay, and when you die, you want to have what is called a legacy, which would be a will. Very, very important document. Agreed? Yes. Okay, good. All right. Now over here, you have when you're alive. Correct? You have some documents that are fairly important. Fair? Yes. One is a durable power of attorney or a power of attorney, and a second is an advanced medical directive. Fair? Okay, I want you to vote. Okay, tell me what you think is more important. Over here we have the wills, the orange card? Yellow card. If you think the will is the most important, raise up your hand with the orange card. Yeah, between the two, I want you to tell me what you think the most important is. The will in your life, what's the most important? This is not the vote I wanted. Okay. So it didn't turn out right. Kill the video. Okay, now over here, I got the durable power and the advanced medical. Durable power of attorney, advanced medical. Hold them up. Okay, we can end our lecture now because you guys already know everything. So the end of the lecture is go see an attorney. Okay, that's interesting. We thought the vote would be the other way. Show me the green cards again for the ones. Abigail, you see that? Yeah. Okay, and then the yellow cards again? Okay, good. Well, what we're going to do, we're going to put on 3 presentations to show you the various aspects of the importance of planning. And I've done this enough and read the evaluations. Last year the last 2 years I spoke to about 2,000 people on this topic. And the number of people, and I offered free Starbucks coffee if someone did their documents who didn't have them. How many people have, show me a yellow card if you have a durable power and advanced medical directive. A durable power and advanced medical directive. Very small number. Okay, thank you. What about my friend here? Did you raise your hand? Are you paying attention? Okay, I got it. Most Americans don't, by the way. So I'm a carpet bomber. The message I can tell you right now is do it. And if you don't learn it from these 3 skits as to why, then you're wasting your time here. Fair? Yes. Okay, got it? Okay, we're going to give you 3 skits. Stay with me, okay? I can't read to you, and I don't like reading to people when I'm giving a lecture, and I don't use PowerPoint. Because I just find it boring. I just have to read to you one section from an article to set the stage. Okay, but I can't read and look at the same time, so bear with me. The first topic we're going to talk about is your ability to do a power of attorney and advanced medical directive. Anybody know what that's called? Capacity. Capacity. And we're going to talk about capacity. In Anglo-American law, the concept of mental capacity is used to measure the degree to which an individual has the mental ability to understand the nature and effects of one's act. Now remember that, the mental ability to understand the nature and effects of one's acts as determined by a medical or cognitive assessment, thank you Dr. Johnson, of an individual's mental ability. Based on an individual's mental ability, the law decides, and Melanie is going to be the judge, whether the individual has sufficient capacity to engage in the action in question. What's the action in question, ladies and gentlemen? To do a power of attorney or an advanced medical directive. Fair? Fair. The legal concept of mental capacity, therefore, is the basis for when a state legitimately may take action to limit an individual's rights to make decision about his or her person or property. That's called a guardianship and conservatorship. Different actions require different levels of capacity. Listen carefully, it's important. Different actions require different levels of mental capacity. The more complex the act of decision, the greater the level of capacity required. The requisite level of capacity varies with the situation. The required degree of legal capacity can be thought on an existing spectrum. In many jurisdictions, even though an individual has been found to lack capacity to contract, to buy a car, to buy a house, the individual may still be found to have the requisite capacity to make a will. And when you do a contract, the level of capacity is for a contractual relationship, and that's a power of attorney. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to see the case of Brewer v. Brewer. And by the way, these are actual cases. We had to jerry-rig the facts a little bit to speed it up. Okay, my client is Mr. Brewer, who was sitting here, who was a man who was 80 years old. Horatio was aged a bit. Okay, he has recently written a power of attorney document. Just last week in my office, he came in and wrote a power of attorney document. His sister, is it a sister?
I represent his sister.
Right,
Who's not here.
Melanie, Abigail represents the sister. The sister has filed an action saying that Mr. Brewer lacked the capacity to do a power of attorney, and we're before Judge Melanie to discuss this issue. Everybody with me? Yeah. Okay, all right, here we go. Okay, now I have to, hold on, I gotta get my script. We got a script here, okay. Your Honor, my name is Robert Bullock, and I represent Mr. Brewer. Mr. Brewer's written a power of attorney. His daughter is challenging the power of attorney. Oh, thank you.
No,
Is that
no.
you again? Okay. It's all right, it's all right.
No,
But kill that on the tape, guys. Kill that on the tape, okay?
No, his sister, it is his daughter who's challenging.
Oh, his daughter. I'm sorry. Forgive me. I get a little confused. The adrenaline. Okay. It's his daughter who is challenging the power of attorney, okay? And I represent the father. Forgive me, and I don't mind being corrected. Okay. With that said, Your Honor, we're here today. You've had an opportunity to see the power of attorney, and we're here today to have the court adjudicate as to whether or not Mr. Brewer had the capacity to do a power of attorney.
Great. Make it swift.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. All right. Okay. Now, could you identify yourself for the court, please, sir?
Who wants to know?
You got to talk louder, sir.
Who wants to know and why you're asking me these questions?
Well, something's wrong with your microphone. They got the high-tech group here. They can't get the microphone working. You good? Okay. All right. You just talk loud. Okay. We got to keep moving. Okay. You, bounce off the back. Okay. Can you tell me your name, sir?
Who are you again?
Who am I again?
Yes.
Mr. Brewer, I'm your attorney, Robert Bullock. Nice-looking guy from Boston. Remember me?
Yeah, I remember you. And I live at 412 Mass Avenue. I lived there until my daughter tried to kick me out. She tried to put me in a nursing home. I don't really remember my phone number, but the last 4 digits of my Social Security number are 3451. Who are you again?
I'm sorry, sir?
Who are you again?
Mr. Brewer, let me refresh your recollection. Did you come to my office last week and retain me to do services for you?
I can't remember.
You don't remember meeting with me?
I think I do.
Okay,
I think I do.
Mr. Brewer, I'm going to show you a document which is marked Plaintiff's Exhibit Number 1, or Defendant's Exhibit Number 1. Can you read that document?
I can't read without my glasses.
Do you have your glasses with you? Ah, great. Okay, good. No. Are you good? Are you good, Mr. Brewer?
Fine.
I need an answer. Are you good?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I'm going to show you a document. Is that the power of attorney that, can you turn to the last page quickly? Is that your signature?
I don't remember. I assume so.
Okay. And is that power of attorney the document you signed in my office?
It looks like it. Yes, it is.
Okay. Do you remember who you gave the power of attorney to? Who you authorized to act on your behalf?
I remember I don't want my daughter
And why don't you want your daughter?
because, she's a terrible person. So I don't want her to touch my money.
And you selected your son. Is that your continued choice today?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to say to the judge?
How are you?
I'm
Yeah.
a bit concerned about you, but well, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, Your Honor, I don't think there's, and you can return to your seat, Mr. Brewer. Be careful walking over the courts. Your Honor, I don't think there is any question that the facts of this matter and Mr. Brewer's ability to identify his power of attorney and who he wanted demonstrates that it's a valid power of attorney and should be upheld by this court.
Your Honor, there's no need for me to cross-examine Mr. Brewer. Based on his testimony, I think it's evident that he does lack the capacity to execute a durable power of attorney, and therefore you should rule that it's ineffective.
So, Mr. Bullock, could you explain to me what the standard of capacity I should judge this case on?
Your Honor, in the District of Columbia, there are 4 standards, actually 3 standards of capacity. And capacity is a very difficult concept.
Absolutely.
As you know, the courts have been grappling with this problem, as they do in the District of Columbia, particularly because of the tsunami of people who are aging into their 70s. My birthday was last week. Happy birthday. Thank you. Okay. And who are showing cognitive impairment. The basic standard that you should use as to whether Mr. Brewer has capacity is whether he has the requisite understanding to navigate through life's decisions, manage his finance in a reasonable fashion, and is not subject to exploitation or undue influence. Primarily, he has to have the ability to contact. The standard is clear. The standard is clear pretty much nationwide and in the District of Columbia. The lowest standard that is required for capacity is doing a will. All a person has to do is know what he has, and forgive me, what he or she has. I have to be politically correct. What he or she has and what he wants to do. These moments do not have to be consistent. And he may be lucid at some time and not, he or she may be lucid at some time and not lucid on another time. The highest level of capacity is to enter into a contract. And that's very basic, ladies and gentlemen. Why is that? Because when you have a will, you know what you are? Dead. Okay? So the law says if you can decide what you have and who you want to give it to, you're not going to be around. But if you do a power of attorney, that person is going to control your life. So you have to have the ability to contract. Everybody got the concept? Okay. The capacity required to make a gift, Abigail pointed out to me yesterday, is the same as to contract. And why is that? Because when you gift, you're giving away your stuff and you can't take care of yourself. So it's a high level of capacity. Okay? Your Honor, I think based upon that, I've answered your question. Does the court have any more questions?
No, I just want to clarify for your client here, Mr. Brewer. Low level of capacity, high level of capacity. Is that what you're suggesting?
Yes, ma'am.
Well,
I understand the standards.
Your Honor, I'd like to clarify that what Attorney Bullock was saying in terms of having a low level of capacity, that's for a will. And what we're talking about here is a durable power of attorney, which actually requires a higher level of capacity. I have with me an expert witness today, Dr. Stephanie Johnson, who would be better able to speak to what kind of tests you can do for capacity and whether or not Mr. Brewer would meet that standard.
That'd be excellent for the court records. Dr. Johnson, thank you for being here.
Your Honor, I'm going to object. She's way too pretty.
Attorney Bullock, I think that's irrelevant.
Don't correct me in front of people. How many times have I told you that?
So, Dr. Johnson, is there a test that can be given to someone to determine a level of capacity?
Yes, there are. There are a few tests that are very common, such as the mini mental status exam and also the brief interview of mental status. These exams look at global cognition, which means your ability to be oriented, know what the date is, and to check short-term memory, things like that.
So just 2 tests primarily are what we need to know. Mini-mental and the...
And the brief interview of mental status.
Wonderful. Can a person have capacity to say that they want their son to do something, but obviously they can't take care of themselves without assistance?
Absolutely, it happens all the time. And that's why testing is so important.
Okay. Mr. Bullock.
Dr. Johnson, let me ask you this. You heard Mr. Brewer testify.
Yes.
Could you form a professional opinion for our jury today as to whether or not he had the requisite capacity to sign a power of attorney 2 days ago in my office?
No, not just based on that. No.
What else do you need?
I need to give him a comprehensive evaluation in order to be able to determine that.
And where is your office located? See, this is a pitch. Pitch. Go ahead.
In Georgetown, off of Thomas Jefferson Street, Northwest.
Okay.
420 East.
And are you licensed, doctor?
I am licensed.
Okay. And have you done these capacity tests in the past?
Yes.
And what kind of tests would you give him again?
I would give him the mini mental status exam along with some tests that look at his memory, his ability to express himself, and some fine motor coordination, just some things that look at overall cognition. It would be a brief battery of tests that we would use to determine his capacity.
Do you specialize in an area?
I specialize in neurodegenerative disorders, so memory impairment, Alzheimer's disease, diseases diseases associated with memory.
Let me ask you this question. Can a person be diagnosed with dementia, Alzheimer's type, and still have the requisite capacity to do a power of attorney?
Absolutely.
No question about that?
No question about it.
Thank you, doctor. Okay. Your Honor, capacity is situational. The doctor has told you this, okay? They can have the capacity, an individual can have the capacity to say, I don't want to live in a nursing home. Do you know how many times, ladies and gentlemen, I've been before a court and the person has said that? Get me home. Okay? Yes, that's what we call decisional capacity. They can make a decision, but in reality, they are totally disabled, need assistance with feeding, dressing, eating, they are incontinent, and there's no way they can be cared for at home. They don't have any executory capacity, they can't execute what they want in decisional capacity. Everybody following how difficult this is? Okay, they have no functional capacity to understand, and that's what Judge Melanie has to decide today. Okay.
Yes, that's it.
Sorry, we fell off script here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Robert, if you now want to sum up what we've gone over.
Sure. I want to sum it up. Okay, so what we've got is we've got two situations of capacity here. Did he have the requisite capacity to make a decision to do a power of attorney? You heard him testify. He knew he wanted his son. Okay, he knew he didn't want his daughter, but he couldn't remember who I was or being in the office. Got it? Okay, all right? Here we go. Green card. Is his power of attorney good? No, green card. Okay, all right. Yellow card. Bad. I won, yeah! All right. Okay, we're good. Okay, you got the capacity issue? Okay,
So
thank you for, I'm sorry, go ahead, Abigail. I want to sum up.
Yeah.
Oh, she wants me to sum up. Okay,
Do you have the slides?
I'm sorry?
The copy of the slides?
The copy, oh, oh dear, here we go, sorry. Okay, here we go. The takeaways. Thank God I brought Abigail. I'm old, I forget. Okay, what group is this again? Okay, all right, the sum up. First of all, the takeaway. Do your estate documents now while you have capacity, period. Got it? Okay, now I'm talking to everyone in the room, but I'm talking to your parents. Don't wait, because this is where you're going to end up, guaranteed. And you don't want to be, are there any judges here? Okay, you don't want to be in Superior Court in D.C., you don't want to be in Circuit Court of Fairfax County, and you don't want to be in Prince George's County Circuit Court. And just one, I'm going to take questions at the end because I really got to move along because I'm up against the mayor, okay? All right, here's the story by example. If you have this proceeding in Prince George's County, you're going to have to wait a month to get before a judge. Imagine the chaos a family can do in a month. And number two, there are different levels of capacity. Capacity to make a will, that's the lowest level that you need, remember? Okay. Capacity to make a gift or transfer real estate, it raises it up, remember that? And the highest level is the capacity to enter into a contract. That's needed to execute a power of attorney. And the final point is a diagnosis of dementia does not automatically mean a person lacks capacity to execute documents. Got it? Yep. Okay, we need 30 seconds to shift to our second I'm going to take questions out. Is that okay? Okay, because otherwise we'll go back, and I want to give you as much as I can. Does that work for everybody? Yes. Okay, and I'll stay around as long as necessary afterwards. Abigail will also. Okay, we're going to ask, is our second scene, the call-in. Okay, here we go. Okay. Okay, our second scene is the case of Sarah. This is a true story, ladies and gentlemen. Has eaten us alive in the office the last few months. We're doing a radio call-in show to start, and then we're going to do a consult between two attorneys about the case. Everybody got it? Everybody with me okay? Yep. All right, okay, here we go. This is Bob Bullock at WJFC in Washington, D.C. It's Call a Lawyer. Okay, you like the touch here? Okay, all right, here we go. Okay, give me the bring. Ring, ring. You gotta wake up. Where's my lady? Ring, ring. Beautiful. Okay. Here we go. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm in a serious need of some legal help.
Do you need some legal advice?
I do. My sister was in a car accident in Mexico. She was brought to Georgetown Hospital by medical transport, and she's in a coma.
Oh, dear. I'm so sorry. How did the accident happen in Mexico?
It was a car accident, and she went through the windshield into a wall.
Oh, my gosh. How long was she in a hospital in Mexico?
Several weeks before she was able to be transported.
Dear. Okay. And does she live in the District of Columbia?
Well, that's sort of up in the air. Right now, she is here, but no, she actually lives her normal life in North Carolina.
Oh, so she lives in North Carolina, had an accident in Mexico, and is at Georgetown University in a coma right now.
Yeah, my parents live in the district, and so do I, and it was a good hospital, so we brought her here.
Understood. How old is she?
She's 36.
Okay. Does your sister have an advance medical directive or a power of attorney?
We don't think so. We couldn't find any documents, and we're pretty sure she didn't do them.
Wow. Are the doctors talking to you about her treatment?
Well, they talk to us about her treatment, and my parents are able to make immediate medical decisions, but they're starting to tell us we have to make plans for her. She may not come out of this coma, and we have to find her a place to go, and the health insurance companies won't talk to us. Her employer won't talk to us. We can't get any information beyond her immediate treatment.
And does she have assets in North Carolina?
We know she has a bank account. We don't know how much is in it or where it is.
And I suspect the bankers won't talk to you without authority.
They won't even confirm that she has an account there.
Wow. So you don't have access to her money, and you have difficulty making her medical decisions.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. It sounds like you need some legal counsel. Are you available to come into the office this afternoon?
Yes.
Okay. We're going to shift now. Okay. And Abigail and I are going to come out here. The lady is coming in, and this is actually what happens. This is real life. Okay. Can you just push that chair out here? Oh, she needs the mic. Okay. So we're going to sit here and chat. Abigail, what's going on with this lady who's coming in?
Well, we've reviewed everything, and it looks like the only thing that we can do is we're going to have to file for guardianship and conservatorship.
Wow, in the District of Columbia, that's going to take 6 weeks to 3 months.
Well, there's an emergency provision that if there is an emergency and the person is in D.C., the court can expedite things. But the problem is that only is good for a short period of time. So we're going to have to kind of do this in multiple pieces. But do you understand what a guardianship and conservatorship is?
No, I'm a little old, and I hang around with Horatio, and I don't know what's going on.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. So
No laughing. Go ahead.
So guardianship is the court is going to appoint someone to make all of Sarah's medical decisions, care-related decisions, placement, things like that. It gives them authority over her person. And then a conservator is someone who's appointed by the court to handle her finances. So this family is going to need both parts because no one's got authority one way or the other.
So we've got to go for an emergency in Superior Court.
Yes, so we are going to have to get a petition together. We'll have to file it in court and hope that they approve it. It'll take about 2 weeks, which is pretty quick for guardianship. But the longest that they'll approve it for is 90 days. So after 3 months, we're kind of back to square one.
And she doesn't live in the district.
No.
So we're going to have trouble with jurisdiction.
Yeah.
Okay, and when you file, what happens? Do you remember?
Well, when you file, you have to explain why you think the judge should hear the case and why, even though she's from North Carolina, it's appropriate for them to hear it here.
Well, and my recollection is that they appoint, in an emergency, they appoint a guardian ad litem, and they appoint an attorney, and sometimes they appoint an examiner. So within 48 hours, you have 4 people running around for this woman. And generally, the hearing happens a little bit closer in than 2 weeks. It's a 3 or 4 day turnaround. But we stop the train going one way, and we force it to go another way in an emergency situation. Is that your recollection?
It is, and it's in this case, she's in a coma. So really, the examiner who is sent out to make sure that the person really doesn't have capacity to manage their own affairs, that'll be straightforward, but it means that the family is going to have to be coordinating because they're going to have to see someone at the hospital. So it's just a big burden for them right now, which is too bad.
And expensive.
It is expensive.
I can't discuss fees with you all. It's unethical. Okay. All right.
Well, and also just so that we're clear, we can get an emergency guardian, but it's really hard to get an emergency conservator. So even if the family is going to be able to have authority to talk to like the health insurance companies, if she needs to apply for public benefits or something, they're not going to have access to her financial information.
And how difficult is it to get a conservator appointed in this case? What kind of problems are we going to have?
Well, it really is about the fact that she has no assets in the District of Columbia. And so they're going to be very hesitant to appoint someone here to manage her assets when they're in North Carolina. But her family's here, so I don't know it's going to be hard.
Is it likely she's going to stay at Georgetown?
For the indefinite future, that's their plan. We don't know how long she's going to be in this coma. The hospital is telling us that she may have to plan on being in a long-term care nursing home if she remains in a vegetative state.
Wow. Okay. When we see them, let's be incredibly sensitive to the stress that these people are under.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we're fading. I'm just going to talk a couple of minutes about guardian conservatorship. Everybody still with me? Yeah. Okay. Here's some wisdom, and it's what I find so incredible about the practice of elder law and the area that Abigail and I practice in is we're learning things all of the time. It's still at this ripe old age of 41. Okay, that's me, 41. Okay, now, just checking. Okay. With that said, I'm going to tell you a little vignette. I was before a judge in Fairfax who I was able to get a temporary guardianship in this conservatorship because the son was exploiting her. Thank you. The son was exploiting. I have to move a little faster because we've got to do one more skit. The son was exploiting the woman, and I got an emergency guardianship. Okay? A guardianship proceeding is an extrajudicial remedy. What that means is if you have a lawsuit over a construction matter in court, you sue them, they have an answer, it gets on a track. Okay, the law has a procedure for that. Guardianships are extraordinary. This is what the judge said. He yelled at me because I'd gotten a temporary conservatorship and he didn't like it. And he pointed out that we take away people's rights in an emergency situation. Now, this one demanded that. But suppose you have someone with dementia, Alzheimer's, who has that lucid moments and not lucid moments, and you rush to court and say, that son is taking the money, give me an emergency. It happens very fast. And think about it for a moment. Think about you if a child goes ballistic on you and pulls, and all of a sudden you're delivered with people shaking their heads like this, so some people may have experienced this. You all of a sudden get an order, you have a temporary guardianship. It's a very forceful fist of the law. Okay, and very important to use judiciously, although now because of the tsunami without people having their documents, the guardianship practice is just exploding because people need to be managed. The end of this story, Abigail, you want to tell me the end of the story?
She's still in a coma, and we were able to get a conservator and guardian appointed permanently, but that it was largely due to the circumstances of this case and a sympathetic judge.
Yeah, I actually handled this, and actually what happened was she moved from Georgetown to...
She went to Philadelphia.
And she's been in Philadelphia ever since, and she's deteriorating. So technically, ladies and gentlemen, we don't have jurisdiction in D.C., and we try to take that temporary order and rush to North Carolina to get her money, and ever try to get money from a bank with an order? And we kept extending the order that the judge, if I'm right, we extended the order twice, and we were in court yesterday. And I call throwing yourself in front of the bus, because judges are human. We told them the story. She's dying up in Philadelphia. We can't get her money in North Carolina. We have a little bit of jurisdiction because the money's coming here, but it's not here yet. And he saw through the facts, and he said, I'll appoint a temporary guardian and conservator. Okay? That's the end of the story. We're going to move on to the third presentation.
No,
we're not. Not yet. I got to do my
takeaways.
summary. I almost fell off the stage here. Okay. The takeaways. The takeaways on this one. Okay, anything can happen to you at any time, no matter how old or healthy you are. You all know this. Now, I want to go back to the beginning because the power of attorney and advanced medical, ladies and gentlemen, are insurance. And I can guarantee you for the majority, matter of fact, the supermajority that doesn't have them, take it right from here to me. I've been doing this for 15 years solid. You set a date right now. Right now, you set a date. If you're going to do this and walk out of here with anything, I'm going to get this done. Because you're not going to get it done otherwise, guaranteed. Promise, okay? All right. Court proceedings are time-consuming, costly, and unpredictable, and you can't control the results. Got it? Okay. It takes significant more work and time for an individual to act as a guardian and conservator than an agent under an advanced medical director of power of attorney. It is a JOB job. Okay? And you're going to see in the last session exactly what I mean. Let me leave you with a little bit of mystery. Who do you select? Got it? Okay, we're going to move on to part 3. Dennis, I don't know, my guy here with the time, I don't know exactly where I am. I'm going to keep going until someone stops me. Okay, you ready for the third one? Mm-hmm. Were those up on the screen, Abigail? Did those come up? Okay. Yeah. All right. Our third presentation. You guys still okay? Yeah. All right. You ready this one? This one, by the way, I have fun practicing law. Do not miss, and so does Abigail, but we are really we're in very stressful situations, and our clients are also under a lot of stress. So I don't make light of anything that's happening, but I do try to practice life with a sense of humor, okay? Because I'm in the third stage, it's going to end, and then I'll be dead. Okay. Okay, so the reality is I pretty much say what I want now because I'm 410, so I don't care because you'll never see me again. Okay, unless they invite me back, but after this year, I don't know. Okay, this one is Mama Goes to the Attorney. Okay, all right, here's our setting. Okay, Judge Melanie is now Mama. Do we have a name for her? We'll just call her Melanie, okay? Mama wants to do estate planning, okay? She brings with her, oh, look at that, he cleans up nicely, doesn't he? Let's give him a hand. Nice job, Horatio. Okay, all right. Can I call him Horatio in this one? Oh, Munster. All right, Munster. Okay. She's Mrs. Munster. Okay. And she has her son. What's your name?
My name?
Yeah, your name.
Horatio.
Okay, Horatio. Could you give him a capacity test? She'll be doing office hours in the side room. Anybody who wants a quick one afterwards? Okay. And Mrs. Munster, you brought your daughter. What's her name?
I did. Her name is Stephanie.
Okay. All right. All right, now, you're going to sit here?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So these people have come in, ushered into our conference room. Abigail's doing the interview. Now, we don't have theater lights here. Next year, guys, I want lights. I want to be in the dark and the light on them. Let's crank it up, okay? So the light's on them. I'm sitting here like a mutant, okay? Got it? All right, and then I'm going to comment on their stuff. So we're going to shift back and forth. Everybody follow? Yes. Okay, all right, here we go. Abigail, it's all yours.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming in today, Mrs. Munster. I see that you brought your 2 children with you as well. Can you tell me why you're here?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd like to have my estate documents done, my power of attorney, an advanced medical directive, and a will. And I've brought my son, Horatio, with me, one of my favorite people, and my daughter, Stephanie, with me, also one of my favorite people.
That's great, and I think it's great that you've come in to do your documents. It's so important to do that. So let's start by discussing your power of attorney. Now, do you know what that is?
Well, no.
Okay, that's the document that's going to give someone authority to act in your place regarding financial and business matters. Okay. So if something were to happen to you, they could manage your bank accounts, they could sign contracts on your behalf, things like that. It's a really important document, and whoever is acting as your agent under it is going to have a lot of power. So first, have you thought about who you wanted to name as your agent under the power of the
Okay, before she answers, what's wrong here? This is a test. You see, I evaluate you. What's wrong here is who's Abigail's client? I know it's right. I'm telling you. Okay? Who's Abigail's client? Come on, this is a Jewish service. I ask, you answer. Come on, guys. Who's her client? Mama. What about confidentiality? Oh, they said. Okay? So the first thing you do is you throw the 2 children out of the room. Okay? Because... Say again? To make sure that they're not forcing her to do something. It's called undue influence. Thank you. What's your name? Ms. Hodge. Ms. Hodge. That's called undue influence. Major concept on capacity that Dr. Johnson deals with. Because you can have capacity but be subject exactly here. You watch how this plays out when we talk about undue influence. Okay, undue influence is a relationship between parent and child where they have a relationship and use it to take money. You never heard of that, did you guys? Oh, no. Okay. Okay. All right. I got a daughter in law school. I keep spending money. Okay. Okay. All right. But that's not under. I'm sorry? Yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
back to
go.
me. Okay, so who do you think you would like to name?
Well, we've talked a lot about this, and I'd like both of my children to be my powers of attorney.
Okay, why are you thinking both?
Well, I don't want to have either of them feel left out, and I think that they're capable of helping make decisions on my behalf.
Okay, I can understand that, but what happens if they disagree about what to do?
That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen at all.
Okay, well, let's just see this. So, okay, so Horatio, if I give you $20,000 right now to spend on your mom, how would you use it, or what would you do with that money?
I would invest it.
Okay, and Stephanie, what would you do with $20,000 for your mom?
I would do whatever Mom wanted to do. We could go have fun.
Okay, so
See how that works
if
out?
you didn't have capacity to make the decisions at that point in time, and you wanted to go on a shopping spree with $20,000, that's what Stephanie would do with that money. So, do you think Horatio would be upset with that decision?
Well, maybe a little.
Yeah, so that's just kind of a general example, but a lot of times once someone actually has authority to start acting, a lot of conflicts can come up. So we strongly suggest you name one person, because otherwise it could cause a lot of fighting, and then you could still end up in court. If no one can make a decision, then you go to court.
All right, now we're going to dock over here and come back to me. But I'm going to interject because I'm older than Abigail. Stephanie, are you married or divorced? You're divorced.
I'm divorced.
Okay, right. Ever filed for bankruptcy?
Yeah.
Yeah. When? Yeah. Let me ask you a question. Do you know how to balance your checkbook?
Of course.
How many times in the last 12 months have you balanced your checkbook?
I don't see how this is relevant. 3.
Answer my question, please. How many times have you balanced your checkbook?
4.
4. Do you get along with Horatio?
He's okay.
Oh, he's okay. Horatio, what do you do for a living?
I'm a banker.
Do you invest money?
Of course.
Yeah. How much of a portfolio do you handle?
I handle about $50 million
Do you balance your checkbook every month?
every month.
How many people's money do you manage?
About 250.
Okay. Got it? Okay, now, but this doesn't happen in front of them. But let's talk about selecting 2 people. This is a standard item with everybody, okay? Everybody comes in, not everybody, but most people come in and they want to select the oldest. Right? Stephanie is the oldest. Yeah, right. Divorced. Can't keep it. Oh, and what about that little DWI you had 2 years ago? Do you want to talk about that?
I mean, do we have to talk about? He
Oh.
had one too.
Oh, he did. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
It was
Okay.
never proven.
Right. Okay.
It was never
But,
proven.
but I don't think he was convicted.
No, I live in Maryland. I was caught in D.C. It doesn't matter.
He
Okay.
was drunk. He was drunk.
Okay.
Drunk.
All right. So we always select the oldest, right? Doesn't matter that she can't balance her checkbook. She's a DWI and she's in the middle of a divorce and she needs money desperately. Doesn't matter. Select the oldest. Then we got the one, I'm going to select the boy.
Yeah. Good
What do you mean?
choice.
Right. Well, we got the son. We got 4. And I just had one of these yesterday. I got 4 daughters, and 1 son, and he's the trustee, and he's robbing the trust blind. Excuse me. Okay, but they selected the son. Okay, got it? Then we got the mama who says, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I want to select everybody. Okay, watch. Okay, I'm going to do something. Okay, watch. I'm going to do something, and I want you to either in your head get it, or I want you to write it down. Okay? Okay.
He wants you to think what he just did. That was it.
Okay? Right, write it down. Okay, do whatever you want. Okay, but I got to move this along because it's too big a crowd. She says, I put my hand on the podium. She says, I banged my hand on the podium. He said, remember what I do. Okay, I can't get 3 people in this room to agree what I did in front of them. And you're going to put 2 people in charge of your money? Are you nuts? Okay, and you know sometimes the best thing to do in that situation is appoint a third party. Don't appoint your children. Got it? Back to the scene.
Okay, so So the next question that we need to discuss is whether or not you want to make your power of attorney effective immediately, or whether you want it to be effective only once something happens to you and you can't make your decisions anymore.
I'm not quite sure I really understand the difference.
Okay, so if you make it effective immediately, it means once you've signed your document, whoever you name as your agent can start acting for you right away. So if there was an emergency, there's no extra steps that have to be taken for them to jump into your shoes. If you make it effective only once you've become incapacitated, then what your agent will need to do is get a note or a certification from the doctor saying that you're incapacitated. So it's extra steps. So if you have an emergency situation, and that means usually there's emotions and other things involved, it's something extra that your agent's got to do. And it means tracking down your doctor and getting them to do this for you immediately, which can be very tough.
Got it, got it. So I think it makes sense to make it immediate, and that way Horatio won't have any problems.
Great.
whatsoever.
Okay, and then the other thing that's important for you to understand is we're going to do this as a durable power of attorney. Do you know what that means?
No, I've never heard of that.
Okay, so not all powers of attorney are durable. Durable means that it's going to be effective even after something happens to you. Or if it doesn't have specific language saying this will remain in effect even after I've become incapacitated, then it becomes ineffective once you become ineffective. Which means that if something happens, it's as if you didn't have a document in the first place.
And that's where Dr. Johnson comes in, because she determines if a person lacks capacity. Here's everything you know about powers of attorney in 1.5 minutes. Everybody ready? Okay, I'm going to do it on a spectrum because I'm lineal, okay? The lowest level of a power of attorney is my friend here wants me to sell his car or sell his house. Okay, well, just leave it at the car, okay? He gives me a power of attorney, Bullock, you can sell my car, you can do whatever you want, accept whatever you want, sell my car, you can sign the title. Got it? Limited power of attorney to do a specific thing. Next step up is just a general power of attorney that gives, that this gentleman here gives me the authority to act on his behalf on all his financial matters, period. It doesn't say anything about durable. When he loses capacity, power of attorney ends. Got it? Okay. The one Abigail was just talking about, if I'm missing, am I missing one? Am I good? Okay. The durable power of attorney, that's the king. Okay? Because the durable power of attorney means that when I lose the requisite capacity to handle my affairs and can't do it, or I'm slowly deteriorating so you can't put a mark as to when it occurs, the power of attorney is in effect. Got it? Okay, 1.5 minutes, fair? Yeah. Okay, go ahead, Abigail.
Okay, so another issue that's it's important, and I want to just talk to you about it briefly, is whether or not you want to require your agent, so it would be Horatio in this case, to have to do accountings. An accounting is basically keeping track of all of your money, whether it's being spent, whether money's being made, or if you receive any money from any outside sources and where that goes for a set period of time. So it's basically issuing financial reports.
Well, I don't want him to do any extra work. He works so hard.
Mama, you know how he is.
I just,
How am I?
Well, it's
You're a
usually
thief.
a good idea to have your agent do accountings because, as you can see already, your daughter's getting a little anxious about this. And you know, when you have your estate planned out, whoever you're leaving money to, they're going to be very worried about what's going on with your money and for your care during your lifetime. Whoever's not your agent is probably going to want to make sure that your agent is using the money for you.
Right.
So by making them do the accounting, it takes the question out of it. It makes them accountable for what they're doing, and everyone is clear on what's going on.
and she can read the accounting.
Exactly.
She has access to everything.
Yes.
Okay, so you can have my back even when I'm dead.
Okay.
Okay, this is gold. Listen to me carefully. This is cutting edge on powers of attorney. Okay, because of the age group that what's happening is people have choices to make as to how they're going to be managed if they lose the requisite capacity to handle their affairs. It's only going to be one of two things. Either you're going to have a power of attorney in place, or you're going to have the court handling it under a conservatorship. Got it? Okay, because someone's going to manage your stuff. The conservatorship, the court runs. You don't choose who's appointed. All your money is put into the court. All the record of your money is put into the court, and what you have, an asset inventory, and then they have to file with the court. They're monitored. A conservator has to do an accounting. Got it? Yes. Okay. The problem with powers of attorney, as I've grown up in the field, is trust my daughter with no accounting responsibilities, nothing. Okay? I can tell you a major percentage, a large percentage, when someone has somebody else's money, I need $10 for this, I need to pay the electricity, I'm going to pay it back, and then I need mortgage, and then I need alimony. Her marriage is in trouble. She told you she's getting divorced. She's got 2 kids to feed at home. So what you do is you have them do an accounting in the power of attorney. Now, my final point on this one is if you do the document, you have a responsibility to yourself and to your family. Read the document. Okay? Read the document. Okay, I think I'm getting the hook. 3 minutes. Okay. Read the document. I know you all have leases because you're tenants. And I'm absolutely certain that everybody in this room, when they were handed the lease, sat down with a magic marker, made a copy, and read the lease line by line. Got it? Okay, doesn't make sense. We're all adults, but it's okay. Life is life. But the power of attorney, when you go to the attorney, don't just take their document. This is not boilerplate. It is not just a form. Close your eyes. I won't touch you, I promise. Close your eyes. That was a joke, guys. I won't. Okay. Close your eyes. Right now, you've just walked out of here and got hit by Horatio's car. Okay, and you're at Howard University Hospital, and you can't make a decision about anything. What's going to happen? Who knows? You're going to end up with me and someone spending a lot of money, or an attorney. Okay, but if you have a power of attorney, that document is going to control your life. Make sure you know what's in there. Make sure you select one person, and make sure you get an accounting. Okay, that's new, by the way. That's new. You're not going to find that in your documents. Abigail, there are a couple of more points. Oh, we got this right up here. Select one agent. Choose someone who is qualified and competent, and inform the person you choose. Don't just do it to someone. Bring them into the lawyer's office so they know what their responsibility is. Got it? Yes. Make sure the document is durable. We agree with that?
Yep.
Okay. Carefully consider making it effective immediately. Okay? Require your agent to prepare accountings. And the last one I just talked about, read and understand your document. So, ladies and gentlemen, there it is. Okay? You saw the beginning process. This is it. You saw chaos in terms of management if you don't have them. And then you saw the bottom when everybody's fighting about everything when you don't have capacity. Now, you all voted correctly at the beginning as to what the most important documents were. If you notice, I didn't touch much upon wills. You know why? I want to be invited back next year. Okay, and I'll bring them back. What do you think? Think they did a good job? Thank you. Okay. Thank you all very much for your attention. I'll hang around. Abigail will hang around if you got any questions. I don't think we have time because I'm pushing on the mayor. If you'd rather us than the mayor, that's okay. Stay here. No. I'm just kidding. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Work? Did you learn something? Will you go back home and try something? Okay, that sounds like we got a winner. It's lunchtime. Please head to the ballroom for lunch. We look forward to seeing you there. Fabulous. It worked. Now you can do it 5,000 times.